in the bustling heart of Lagos. Nestled amidst the cacophony of market vendors and the endless river of people, there lived a man named Ed. He was known far and wide for one thing, and one thing only, his palm wine. People would travel from distant villages, drawn by whispers of its unparalleled sweetness, its creamy texture, and the blissful feeling it left behind. Take Adet, have his nectar, and Adwile's small stall was never empty. He tiptoed behind, keeping a safe distance, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. With a strange chant, he placed one end of the reed into the pit and the other to his mouth. a folktale told at dusk to remind future generations to always question what lies beneath the surface. If only they had known. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this tale from the heart of Africa, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another story. Let us know in the comments what you thought of Wile's secret. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious. In the heart of the village of Amachi, nestled deep within a lush, green valley, lived a man named Cheek. Cheek was not a man known for his hard work or his kindness, but rather for his deep-seated envy. He watched his neighbors build sturdy homes, cultivate bountiful farms, and celebrate the marriages of their children, and a bitter resentment grew in his heart like a stubborn weed. While others toiled from dawn till dusk, Cheek spent his days lounging in the shade, dreaming of a life of effortless wealth. He believed he was destined for greatness, but that destiny seemed to be taking its sweet time. His wife, Adana, was the complete opposite. Her hands were rarely still, and her spirit was as bright as the morning sun. She worked tirelessly, tending to their small plot of land and weaving beautiful baskets that she sold at the market. Their only child, a spirited young boy named Obi, was the center of her world. He had his mother's kind eyes and a laugh that could chase away the darkest of clouds. Adana loved Cheik, but she often worried about the dark cloud of discontent that always seemed to hang over him. She would often say, "My husband, the richest man is not the one with the most gold, but the one with the most love in his home." Cheik would simply scoff and turn away, his mind lost in fantasies of gold coins and endless luxury. One evening, as the sun bled orange and purple across the sky, Cheik overheard two elders talking in hushed tones about an old, reclusive sorcerer who lived deep in the forbidden forest, a place known as the Whispering Woods. They spoke of his immense power, how he could grant any wish, but always at a terrible price. A dangerous idea began to sprout in Cheik's mind. He was tired of waiting, tired of watching others succeed while he remained in the dust. He decided that this sorcerer was his only hope for the life he so desperately craved. Ignoring Adana's pleas and the warnings of the villagers, Cheik packed a small bag under the cover of darkness. He kissed his sleeping son, Obi, on the forehead, a flicker of hesitation crossing his face before greed quickly extinguished it. He ventured into the Whispering Woods, a place so dense and eerie that even the bravest hunters dared not enter. The trees seemed to lean in, their branches like skeletal fingers, and strange sounds echoed through the oppressive silence. After what felt like an eternity of walking, he found a small, dilapidated hut, smoke curling lazily from its crooked chimney. An old man with eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of 1,000 lifetimes sat by a crackling fire. This was the sorcerer. Without any preamble, Cheik blurted out his desire. "I want to be the richest man in all the lands," he declared, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and excitement. "I want wealth beyond imagination." The sorcerer looked at Cheik, his gaze piercing and unsettling. He smiled a slow, knowing smile. "Wealth is a heavy burden," he rasped, his voice like dry leaves skittering across the ground. "But if it is what you truly desire, it can be yours. However, the spirits demand a great sacrifice. To receive everything, you must first give what is most precious to you." The sorcerer explained the horrifying terms. "To gain unimaginable riches." Cheik had to sacrifice the two people he loved most in the world, his wife, Adana, and his son, Obi. A cold dread washed over Cheik. His wife, his child, the very thought was monstrous. But then, images of gold, silks, and palaces flooded his mind, pushing aside the love for his family. He saw himself as a king, revered and powerful. The sorcerer's words echoed in his ears, and the poison of greed had already taken too deep a root. He made his terrible choice. He agreed. The sorcerer gave him a small, carved wooden idol and a potion. He instructed Cheik to place the idol under his family's sleeping mat and to put a single drop of the potion into their evening meal. The sorcerer warned him, "Once the sun sets on the third day after they are gone, your new life will begin. But remember, the spirits are always watching." Cheik returned home, his heart a cold, heavy stone in his chest. He avoided Adana's concerned gaze, and barely acknowledged Obi's happy chatter. That night, with trembling hands, he did as he was told. He placed the idol and administered the potion. It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air. The villagers, knowing his lazy nature but never suspecting such evil, pitied him. A part of him screamed in agony, but the larger, greed-filled part of him counted the hours until his promised fortune would arrive. On the evening of the third day, as the last sliver of sun disappeared behind the hills, a miraculous event occurred. A heavy chest, crafted from dark, polished wood and bound with iron, appeared in the middle of his hut. Chike's heart pounded in his chest as he threw open the lid. It was filled to the brim with gold coins, sparkling jewels, and priceless artifacts. It was more wealth than he had ever dreamed of. He laughed, a wild, manic sound, scooping up handfuls of gold and letting it rain down on him. His life changed overnight. He bought the largest piece of land, built a magnificent palace that towered over the village, and adorned himself in the finest silks and jewels. He threw lavish parties, feasting on exotic foods and drinking the finest palm wine. People who had once looked down on him now bowed in his presence, their mouths full of false praise. Chike reveled in his newfound power and status. He had everything he had ever wanted, but as the days turned into weeks, a strange emptiness began to gnaw at him. The laughter at his parties sounded hollow. The taste of the rich food turned to ash in his mouth. He was surrounded by people, yet he had never felt so alone. At night, he would wander the vast, empty halls of his palace, the silence amplifying the ghosts of his past. He would see faint images of Adana weaving in a corner or hear the distant echo of Obi's laughter down a long corridor. The golden coins felt cold and lifeless in his hands, a stark contrast to the warmth of his wife's embrace or the small, trusting hand of his son in his. He started having nightmares. He would dream he was drowning in a sea of gold, the coins filling his mouth and lungs, while the spectral figures of Adana and Obi watched him from a distant shore, their faces filled with sorrow. One night, desperate for peace, he returned to the Whispering Woods to find the sorcerer. He found the old man exactly where he had left him, tending his fire. "Take it back," Chike cried, throwing a bag of gold at the sorcerer's feet. "Take all of it. I don't want the wealth. I want my family back. I want Adana and Obi." The sorcerer looked at him, his ancient eyes devoid of any pity. "The pact is sealed," he said calmly. "A choice, once made, cannot be unmade. The spirits have taken their payment. Your wife and son are gone forever." Atena dared a cruel glint in his eye, "but you did not let me finish my instructions that day. You were in such a hurry." "What do you mean?" Chike asked, his blood running cold. The sorcerer picked up the small wooden idol that Chike now carried with him everywhere, a twisted memento of his crime. "This idol," the sorcerer explained, "is not just a vessel for the sacrifice. It is a mirror to your soul. The wealth you received is tied to the love you gave away, and every night, for the rest of your life, it will show you what you lost." That night, as Chike lay in his opulent bed, the wooden idol on his nightstand began to glow with a soft, ethereal light. In the glowing light, an image formed. It was Adana and Obi. But they were not sad or spectral. They were in a beautiful, sun-drenched meadow, laughing and playing. Obi was chasing butterflies, while Adana watched him, her face radiant with a pure, untroubled joy he hadn't seen in years. They were happy. They were at peace, in a paradise created from the very love Chike had discarded. Every single night, the scene would replay. Chike would watch the family he had destroyed, living a life of perfect happiness without him. He was forced to witness the joy he had stolen from them, a joy he could see and hear but never, ever touch. His immense wealth became his prison. The magnificent palace was his cage, and the nightly vision was his eternal torture. He lived for many years, A rich, powerful, and utterly broken man, forever haunted by the laughter of the family he had sacrificed for gold. His story became a chilling tale, passed down through generations, a stark reminder that the true treasures of life can never be bought, and don'ts lost can never be regained.